If you look at retailing, of course, it's about shopping on the phone. It's about online. And the thing about this is I hate when people say, you know, what share is going to online versus offline, because retailing is now all of it. And you has to be a seamless integration across all these different platforms. And those retailers who don't get it are in trouble. Any retailer who doesn't have big data is in trouble right from the beginning. Think about the department stores. If you interact with your customers twice a year, that's not big data. That's like twice a year. You know, you really have to generate the interaction with your customer. You got to get these touch points several times a day. You really got to increase the frequency so that you actually do have big data. And so the retailers that don't have that kind of data on their customers, they're already behind. In talking about a retail apocalypse, you got to face the fact that we have too many physical stores. So there was going to be a shakeout anyway, because the US has way too many physical stores, so this was going on anyhow. And of course, what's the biggest change? Amazon. And Amazon has fundamentally changed retailing. Give customers what they want and give it to them better than anybody else. With those two principles, I put together what I call, that's my last name, the Kahn success matrix. I figure why not? You know, no one else is going to label it that. So this is the matrix. Now, the strategy behind the matrix is think about this matrix with the origin at the center. And draw axes out in each one of these quadrants. Now, what I would argue is you could plot your position as a retailer on each one of these quadrants. Closer to the origin is worse, out further is better. You can plot your position. And then you can plot fair value or customers' expectation, or what the minimum you have to do to get customers interested in you. And the strategy is you have to reach fair value in all four quadrants. So if you want to win in retailing, you want to do really well, you got to be the best at two quadrants and good enough at the other two. But the problem with this in a very competitive industry is good enough is constantly being ratcheted up. So just keeping up with good enough is hard. But you got to be the best at two. Let me talk about Amazon from this thread. Now I know everybody knows Amazon. 100 million Prime members, 60% of the American households are Amazon households, so everybody knows Amazon. What I would argue is they start out with a leadership strategy, and they started out in frictionless. Now, what they do is they just keep raising the bar. So everybody else in the industry, and frankly, everybody else in the whole world, is chasing after what Amazon's doing in this category, in customers' expectation on convenience, on easy, on what you can do with big data, all that kind of stuff. So the first thing they did, I think they did this in 1997, was one-click shopping. Now, I didn't know this. I don't know how many of you know this. I didn't know this till I started doing research, but they patented one-click shopping. So they own one-click shopping up until 2017. They lost the patent last year. Now, there's a lot of things about that's interesting. First of all, for all this time, no one could be easier online than Amazon because they own one-click shopping. Barnes & Noble did it. It's not that hard to figure out. They figured it out. Amazon sued them, and Barnes & Noble had to add another click. I mean, but you're talking about a world where people used to think that it was better to get people immersed in your website and go deeper and deeper in your website and do all that other stuff. And Amazon said, no, make it easy, one click. They leverage this advantage to be the best at low price. How can they do that? Well, first of all, they don't make money on retail transactions particularly. They make money on AWS, they make money on Marketplace, they make money on Prime, on the subscription. Second of all, for some reason, Wall Street gives them a pass. They can go long term, they can reinvest. Other retailers that are competing with them, they don't have that benefit from Wall Street. They got to show a profit. They can't, that's why Nordstrom keeps wanting to go private, because you don't want to have that Wall Street pressure. So on their own, anything that they make and produce and sell on themselves, the margins are very thin. But in addition, all their algorithms, everything is starting on Marketplace forces anyone who's on Marketplace to lower their price. There's constant pressure. Anyone who's sold on Amazon Marketplace knows this, that there's constant pressure to lower your price. The algorithms are set up that way. The way you're going to be on the platform is a function of whether or not you can offer this lower price. So they do that. And then, of course, when they make the money, they plow it back into lowering their cost fulfillment centers, robotics and things like that. Now, one of Bezos' most famous quotes, although I cannot find it anywhere that he said it, but everyone on the internet swears he said this, is, "Your margin is my opportunity," right? That's his most famous quote, but I can't find it. But anyway, what that means is, I think on my matrix, is people have very high values for brands, and a lot of you in the room are brands. You know you want people to have brands, but if Amazon has its way, they're going to take that fair value and lower it, and then he's going to sell right here. So if you're a brand, you're a luxury brand, you're somebody that wants to keep your brand margin, you don't want to sell on Amazon. So you don't see any of these people selling on Amazon if they can help it, because he's pushing the margin down with all these price strategies. 55% of product searches start on Amazon. If you go online and you're searching for a product, 55% of the time, you're on Amazon. If you go to Google, then Amazon's got an ad right up there as soon as you put the name in, and you're going to click on Amazon, you're going to be back into Amazon. So Amazon pretty much owns any time you're online searching. So if somebody goes online to search for athletic wear and Nike's not on Amazon, they lose more than 55% of the marketplace just to start with. All bookstores have the books this way with a very thin showing. Amazon has the cover. You know, that's how people judge books, by their cover. You couldn't even see. You couldn't see the book's cover before. So at least that's what Amazon has, good common sense. But more importantly about it is that there's no prices. There are no prices in Amazon bookstore. How do you find it? And there are no reviews, and people judge books by the reviews also. How do you find it out? You've got to log into the Amazon app, and then you hold your phone up to the book. And then they have now integrated your in-store behavior with your online behavior, which is critical. They're teaching you to shop with your phone, and they have two prices. They have Amazon Prime price. Now, they only have two now, but they have Amazon Prime and not Prime. And they just said they're going to do this in Whole Foods also. Now they have sensors. They have all this stuff. They can tell the difference from every single thing you're doing between a raspberry yogurt and a strawberry yogurt. They know which one you pick up. They know everything you're doing in that store. And you know that if they can do that cheaply, then they're going to be able to scale that. They're just going to be able to scale that technology. So they're going to put it in all their stores eventually, and all other stores are going to have to buy it too. Then Amazon's going to have everybody's data. This is called Amazon's virtuous circle, and what everybody thinks, although I can't prove it, is that in 1997, Jeff Bezos drew something like this on a napkin. And what he drew was that here's how I'm going to grow. I'm going to develop a customer experience, which what he means by customer experience is convenience and easy and data. That's going to drive traffic to my site. That's going to attract the sellers. I'm going to have a huge selection. Once I have that in place, I'm going to leverage that to lower my cost structure, lower prices, and wrap people in. He did this 20 years ago. And he's delivered to this strategy in an amazing way.